What's up, Knife Tube? It's Diamond Cut Steel, and you guys are going to learn something today. How's everybody doing? Hope everybody's having a good day. I appreciate you checking my video out. Here's a extremely well used peafowl that's been through mortal hell, and I mean, talk about no edge. The edge is literally gone. But this has been a well-used knife, and believe it or not, don't perform terrible. Yeah, the edge is completely done for. So we're going to fix that problem. This also has a slightly broken tip. Here we have a 300 diamond plate, some Windex. I'm going to drop it on. Since this knife's beat on so hard, I'm actually going to increase the angle a little bit. The Peafoul is not a bad performing knife. Just my only disappointment in it is that they're lying about the steel. They're saying it's their proprietary steel, ZD F905, and this is definitely not ZD F905. I have that steel in a kitchen knife, a couple kitchen knives from them, and have PMI'd it, and this steel does not even come close to matching that steel in performance or in elemental breakdown. So I don't know if maybe they had a batch that got out, because this was got when they first come out. Maybe they had some get through with the wrong steel, possibly. I don't know, but customer service is not helpful. They just want to blow you off. And if you do get one that's in the ZDF steel or ZDF 905, believe it or not, it's not a bad performing steel. Like I said, I've got it in a kitchen knife, and it's not bad. This just feels like, to be honest, something like some 420, maybe 440A, something like that, as far as abrasion resistance and edge retention use. It is a fairly resilient steel, so even with that pretty low angle, it's taken some real abuse, and I'm gonna work this because I want to remove, that's some heavily fatigued steel, so I'm intentionally taking off a lot more steel than I need to. Well, no, not than I need to. I want to get rid of that fatigued steel. That fatigued steel needs to go. So we're gonna remove a pretty decent bit of steel, just because we want fresh steel and not fatigued steel at the edge. Now, so I don't get too funky sized bevels, I am not going to work I'm going to work both sides, not just one. And one thing about it, this knife has a strange grind. So even though my angle is consistent, you see the bevel starts out real thin, gets thicker. It's because it's very thin back here, and it immediately starts to thicken up through the taper. Kind of a strange grind, but it is what it is. Okay, let's see, where we at? I do suggest when you have a knife that has, you know, just a ridiculously abused edge, it's been very worn out, I very much suggest to go ahead and remove some extra steel to get rid of that fatigued steel. It will benefit you with a better performing, longer lasting edge, rather than just letting that fatigued steel stay there. And only removing a little bit of it, and then basically you create your apex on fatigued steel. That doesn't benefit you in any way. Okay. Oh, we got, this might not be an aggressive enough stone. I didn't notice that. There is a pretty significant chip in this steel. You know what we're going to do? We are going to hop over to Mr. Atoma 140 and, well, you know what? I could just use that DMD. That's what I'll do. Because I got to get the Atoma out. Don't feel like messing with it. Let's just go to old Mr. DMD. Hop over to this 120. Let's rip some metal off this beast. Damn right, yeah, that's a significant chip. I did not notice it, but I went ahead and got the tip starting to be reformed. Can y'all see? Okay. Let's do it. Yeah, there's a pretty decent chip right there. It's going to take a while on that 300, so. Good night. I love you. See where we're at. Yeah, that's going to be a good bit of steel to remove. That is going to be some steel to remove. So we need to, I got to get around those diagonal strips. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and apply some pressure and rip steel off here, because this 120 side is starting to be quite worn. So I'm just going to hold my angle. I'm not worried about the scratch pattern. I do not suggest you do this unless you know how to hold an angle well and you have some experience. But right now, I want to get steel off tonight to get that chip out. And I can hold an angle one hand, you know, like this with no issue at all. I'm not worried about having a perfectly shaped scratch pattern right now because I'm going to take care of that shortly. Okay, we're getting there. We are getting there. Let's go ahead and work the other side. See, right then, I just cut that burr off. I'm not even worried about that right now because I've still got quite a bit more steel to remove. I would normally never do that, but right now it's all about removing steel. And since this plate is quite worn out, I'm going to go ahead and just really load on the pressure. I would, again, something else I wouldn't typically do, but in this case, it's not going to hurt the stone. The stone's already not far off of time to replace it. All right, we're getting there. Probably one more working on each side, and we'll have it. Ooh, this knife's going to get quite thick. Again, I'm just going to go ahead and cut that burr off. And I'm going to just, again, work one-handed. I'm just trying to get steel. Please, do not do this if you're not somebody who's good at holding an angle and you understand what's happening here and how much steel you're. Do not do this. This is a good way to remove way more steel than you mean to. So, if you do what I'm doing right now, proceed at your own risk. Is all I'm telling you. If you know what you're doing and you really understand what's going on, you know how much steel you're removing, you have some experience, that's one thing. But okay, we got a healthy burr now because I just really removed some steel just then. Again, I'm going to go ahead and just shear that burr off. Going to lay into it with some heavy pressure. That was a pretty healthy chip. All right, we should be good now. Yeah, we should be pretty good. I don't see no chip. Actually, there is a little bit left. Let's hop over to the 150 side or the 180 side and give it a little more because there is still a little chip. There is a little bit of that chip remaining. And remember, doing what I was doing, that will worry because I'm applying a lot of pressure. That will exponentially increase the wear on your diamond plates. Okay, so again, do it at your own risk. Again, I'm going to go ahead and shear that burr off. I'm going to go ahead and work a little more of that steel off. This thing might need a regrind, this bad boy. It's going to get quite thick. It's already getting thick, and after all this steel removal. But, you know, it hasn't been a bad knife, to be honest. I think I paid like $25 for it, and I've gotten my money's worth out of it because it's been a pretty decent beater knife, to be honest. Okay. Alrighty, now let's go ahead and we're gonna shear that burr off one more time. gonna go ahead and, when I get to 300, I'm going to go ahead and start basically what is a full sharpening from that point. And I don't want to get on that 300 with a super heavy burr. Yeah, I'll probably regrind this beast on the next sharpening. And the reason why it seems like I'm making more passes this way than I am this way, because I'm applying a lot more pressure this way. Okay, here's where we're at. Now we're going to go ahead and hop over to the 300. I do have a pretty healthy burr still, but what I'm going to do, I don't want to be working with that super heavy burr. I'm going to actually go ahead and cut it off on this stone and then raise a burr, flip a burr, and then move from there. And now I know for sure, so I'm going to go ahead and shear that burr off. Okay. Now let's go ahead and form a new burr. On this 300. And I know for a fact there is no fatigue steel on this knife anymore. We are in fresh steel for sure. Okay. Okay, we got a more reasonable burr to work with here. It's not crazy heavy. But I don't even know if you can get these anymore, but I'll tell you, if you can get them and you can pick one up for like 25 bucks, it's a good little knife, especially if you get it in the actual, ZDF steel, because that stuff's not bad. In the kitchen knives I have it in, I'd say it's, very similar. It performs very much like 154 CM. Maybe not quite there, probably more like BG10 actually. And it's pretty good. It sharpens pretty nicely. I'm assuming just in that first batch they had some, because they are a relatively well-known company, so I doubt they were intentionally trying to dick people over on the steel. But it is what it is. It's clearly I got one that is not the steel they say it is, and the new ones probably are though, or the later runs probably are. Okay. Here's where we are. Got a nice wide bevel because I don't want to make it too obtuse, but it's starting to get really thick, so it is what it is. We're gonna hop over to the 1000, Mr. 1000. Again, Windex, drop it on. Diamond plates, your best friend. Don't buy no lapping fluid or anything like that. Don't use water because get rust spots from it. Just simply Windex and about 3 in this size bottle, about 3 drops of Dawn. Your stones will last longer. They won't clog up. They'll cut better. Trust me. You can sharpen no problem dry on a diamond plate for sure. You know, I do it occasionally. It's not going to hurt anything, but I guarantee you, if you use Windex and a drop or two of Dawn, your diamond plates again, they won't clog, so they'll continue to cut without, you know, having to clean them. They'll last longer. You won't get no rust specks. You'll have better feedback. You'll have better feel. Let me say that. Not really so much feedback, but you'll have better feel. It's just trust me. Use it. You'll thank me later. Okay. Now we got a reasonable size burr. We have a nice formed point. Okay. Now, instead of knocking that burr off, I'm going to go ahead and flip it. This is a brand new diamond plate, so there is going to be, you know, pieces on here that are breaking loose. It's kind of getting broke in now. I'm not really worried about that. So this 1000 is going to definitely act more aggressive than it actually is. For $16, these stones are an amazing value. They do have a little grit contamination, but it's minor and really ain't nothing to worry about, to be honest, unless you're, you know, if you're after perfection, that's one thing, but for the people that are just kind of getting into it, you know, the grit contamination ain't going to hurt you anyways, because it's going to take you time to get to the skill level in order for grit contamination to actually be a matter to you. And with me, I don't care about it because I want a nice aggressive edge anyways. And yes, while this says 1000, it's realistically probably going to be more like a 600. No biggie to me. For $16, they last good. They cut fast. They have nice coverage of diamond. The electroplating's good. Hell, you can't beat these things. You know. Okay, and looking good. Looking good. Yeah, I'd say right now that scratch pattern is probably about 600 grit. Some of that's from the loose diamonds that aren't bound in the electroplating. So even if they are the correct size, naturally they're going to be bigger because they're not in the electroplating. They're just kind of on top of it. So, you know, the scratch pattern I'm getting now, the stone is definitely going to be a little finer than that. But it's not going to be 1,000 grit. I can tell that by the feel. Trying to break any diamond particles loose that are kind of wandering around. Okay. Whew, that bevel's kind of thick. Anyways, that's where you at. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go, because the stone's probably pretty good now with having the loose particles broken off. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to wash that off. And then we'll run it over it again on the 1K and actually get a better feel for what the scratch pattern's actually going to look like. Okay. Everybody looking forward to the weekend? I know I am. It's been a long week. Probably going on 90 hours for me, actually. And I got to work tomorrow too, so yeah. It'll be 105 hour week probably. Not including chores, around the homestead. Me and my son are rebuilding our camper. Tore it out completely inside. Putting in new AC units and totally redoing it inside. But it's just a me and him project. Okay, so let's see where we're at on the actual scratch pattern. If you notice too, I went in because I had only worked this side of the stone, so I flipped it because 1000 was up here. That way, any loose pieces that over here that I didn't get by going like that, I'll catch them now. Now I'm going to go ahead and lighten up my pressure to almost nothing and just kind of refine the scratch pattern. And we're going to start working that burr loose. If I do remember right from the couple sharpenings, this nice hat on it, it does not like to let go of that burr. Which is actually what made me know that something was wrong on the very first sharpening, or actually because I sharpened as soon as I got it because the factory edge wasn't very good. So, I have ZDF 905 on kitchen knives, and I know it sharpens and deburrs very nicely. And as soon as I got this on the stones, I was like, yep, this is too soft. This is not that steel. And I was right. It's not. Okay. So I'm gonna really have to work that burr. We're just gonna flip it and fatigue it. All right, I say put shower stick in tomorrow. Got some nice sticky point back. Let's see where we're at. That burr is gonna hang on, I can tell you that. That's where we're at now. Definitely going to be a nice aggressive edge. It's going to be coarser than 600 actually, because I definitely felt some particles breaking loose. So this is probably more like a 500 grit edge, to be honest, right now. So now we're going to make some very light passes, edge leading at exactly sharpening angle. Go ahead and just let those diamonds snag those little pieces of burr and take them off. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do, I am going to make a couple edge trailing passes. just in case there's any little fragments that want to pop off as it's getting flipped back and forth. I'm using literally no pressure right now. I'm not even lessen the weight of the knife. I'm just allowing the edge to basically touch the diamond. Okay. See where we're at. Let's see, that's a wide bevel, boy. Okay, let's see what that see that scratch pattern. And you see the little burr fibers? Yeah, that's just this steel. It's quite on the softer side, and it don't want to. There's definitely some retained austenite issues. We just don't want to let the burr go. It did decent, but you see it. There's definitely some burr left. Anyways, fairly aggressive scratch pattern. Clearly some grit contamination, but again, I'm not worried about that. I want a nice aggressive edge right here. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to hop over to a stroppy strop with no compound. I'm going to go slightly, or I'm just going to go over angle. There's no compound on this strop. And all I'm doing right now is just trying to knock that burr loose, those little fragments. I'm not really being careful because there's not really anything to worry about due to there's no compound on here. Okay, let's see where we're at. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, she's nice and sharp. Got lots of bite. Easily push cutting. Easily swirl cutting. Yep, nice edge. Okay. Now it's probably at about it's pretty thick. So that's probably at about 17 degrees per side. Got a nice sticky tip again. And yeah, that probably is more like a 500, maybe 600 scratch pattern. It's nice and aggressive, I can tell you that. Got a lot of bite. Anyways, if you can pick up one of these for like 25 bucks, especially if you can get it and it's in the proper steel, I highly, highly suggest getting it because it makes a really fantastic work knife. This one's had the snot beat out of it. And, you know, for 25 bucks, even with it being in the wrong steel, you know, I was pretty hot about that. I'm not going to lie. I don't appreciate being lied to about steel, but I don't think it was intentional. I think their manufacturing facility just did it in the wrong steel on the first run, and I think they corrected it because while they wouldn't replace the knife for me, you know, they did acknowledge it, and they said they correct it, and you know, but they give me hell, and I'm like, hey, I just want the knife and the steel that's supposed to be in it. They wasn't replacing that knife. Let's put it that way. And I'm not, you know, I kind of pissed me off, so I stayed on them a little bit about it. But for 25 bucks, I mean, after 2 or 3 emails, I'm just gonna quit. I'm sure that's what they was expecting. But Yeah, if you can get one of these in the actual ZDF 905, which is it's probably a spray form steel, like an electro slag steel. Um, they say it's powder steel. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. I don't know. But I can tell you this: it is ran at 61 and a half, 62. It's on the harder side. At least it is in the kitchen knives. And they say that's where these are supposed to be ran. And it's a good performing steel. Much like I said, it's about like BG10. Um, in fact, I think it performs a little better than most VG10, to be honest. So if they still make these and you can get one in it's actually in the steel and it's like 25, $30, I'd buy it. But I wouldn't pay any more than that for it. And remember, they may not have corrected the steel. You may still be getting whatever this is, which is basically, when looking at the composition, about the closest thing I could put it to is like 440A. So, yeah. Anyways, these $16, $15. Actually, man, I think I paid $14 for this thing, to be honest. These $14 diamond plates, 15, 16, whatever they are, they're, for the money, they're great. I mean, this isn't a true number. You could kind of look at this plate. Now, the 300 is actually about right. You could kind of look at this as like a 300 to maybe say 550, somewhere between 300 to 5 to 600, somewhere in there. And yeah, you'll be happy. So check them out. I'll actually, if you can still get these at that price or they still have that listing up, I'll definitely put the link in the comments. And if I can find these, I'll put the link up for you to check out and see if they're actually, what the price is, and see if they're, given the right steel in the knives now. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. Y'all have a good night. Hope you enjoyed that. And I'll talk to y'all later.